Our world has given us so many safer options than a long time ago, which is amazing. My parents are always commenting on all the gadgets and safety things we have that they didn't, and somehow we're still alive. So, but when you know better, do better. And so the world of car seats is an area where we see a lot of questions, a lot of sometimes not as safe practices. I'm Kelsey. I'm the founder of Compleo, and this is Kendra, one of our PTs, and she is our car seat guru. She has extra certifications in child safety and passenger. So today we're just going to talk about really through the lifespan. Right now I have a 4-month-old and a 5-year-old. So we are working through all stages of car seats. So we're going to answer questions on when to switch car seats, some things to look for that you might not know. So let's just start with the newborns.
Yeah.
What do you think is some of the things that most commonly get missed when you're bringing home your new baby in their car seat, and want to think about those first kind of 0 to 12 months in that infant carrier car seat?
I think the two biggest things that I see commonly when people come in to get their car seats checked are their bases are installed with a seatbelt and the latch system. That's very common. A lot of people think, oh, double safety if we have both of these strapped in. But it has not been crash tested that way. And so if you have both in there, it can actually change the forces of the belts if you were to get in a crash. And so the biggest thing to remember is pick seatbelt or latch. One is not safer than the other. You just want to be able to install it correctly every time you install it. That is one of the biggest things I see. And the other biggest thing I see is that the straps are not tight enough and the chest clip is not in the right spot. Babies are little. And so I think a lot of people are so afraid that they are going to be squished in their car seat. And so in turn, it's too loose, which is not going to be what we need if you were to be in an accident. And so you want to remember the pinch test, which is by the shoulders. You don't want to be able to pinch any of that fabric. And so with that hip harness too, that gets loose a lot of times. So you want to pull all the slack out of that and then tighten up that car seat. And then you want to move that chest clip last. That chest clip can move depending on how tight you have your car seat. And so we want our chest clip at armpit or nipple level. If it's any lower than that, it's going to go right into all those vital organs. And when we have it here, our sternum and our chest and our ribs are helping protect all of those organs for us, which is why we want that chest clip there.
Yeah, that's right. Warren keeps telling me I have it too tight and that Ford would have to be like, only Houdini could get out of this. And I'm like, well, that's the point,
great.
Mr. Compleo. Like, we got to have them in tight and safe. I think the other thing to keep in mind with the newborn car seats that I actually didn't realize with Scotty, our first, I was like, oh, wait, you've outgrown the newborn insert, which it's different with every car seat. But just make sure it's real clear on ours. It tells you like at exact what height or weight, not both. It's when they outgrow one of those two things to take out that newborn insert. So also be mindful in your car seat if there's any extra padding when to take those out.
Yeah, and some like they have Up a Baby Mesa, and so it is listed on the tag. It's not always. And so if you don't see it anywhere listed on the tag or on the fabric or on the actual sides of the car seat, it's going to be in your manual. If you don't have your manual in person, they're all online. And if you just go to the index and look under accessories, it's going to be listed under infant insert. And it will tell you typically a weight limit, usually between 10 and 12 pounds. But car seats like Duna doesn't necessarily give you a poundage. It says when it seems a little tight, which is a little bit obscure, but you're able to know. And if you take it out and you can't get your car seat tight enough like you need to, then you know it's time to keep it back in. And just remember that when you take it out, store it in a place that you remember it. Because if you have another kiddo and your car seat is still within the expiration date and you can use your infant carrier again, you're going to want to put it back in. When they're a newborn. So store it somewhere where you remember it, or you're calling the manufacturer to get another one.
To get a new one.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of like worked through the years, rear faced as long as we could, those types of things. Skipping forward to our 5-year-old, which we both have 5-year-olds, he is begging me to switch to a booster, like begging and begging. He got like a little taste of booster life on our trip to Boston because that was all the rental car company had for him. And then he had to come back to his car seat. So what are the rules I need to give him for when he is allowed to switch to a booster?
So you can move to a booster when you are 4 years old and 40 pounds. You have to be both. So if he's over 40 pounds, he did
just hit it. So.
He is able to move to a booster. If you would continue to feel safer with that 5-point harness and you're still within the weight limit of your car seat, it is perfectly fine to keep them in that 5-point harness. Typically around kindergarten is when it gets more convenient to have them in a booster, that high back booster, because then they can get in and out with their seatbelt.
Yeah, I've definitely been wanting to switch because he keeps, I'm trying to get the 4-month-old and he's just like, he can almost get himself on the 5-point and can't quite get there. So it would be nice for him to be able to pop in and out.
Yeah.
Is switching to a booster like the rear facing where like the longer you can stay in the 5-point harness, the better? Or is it kind of like it's a hard and fast rule? You don't have to push it like the rear facing where you go just as long as you can.
You have more points of contact in a 5-point harness. So as long as they're still within the weight limit and height limit of your current car seat, it still is technically safer. Yeah. And there's a couple of other things to consider when moving to booster, like behavioral things and like age maturity things. Can they sit in a regular seat belt and not unbuckle themselves and not try and get in and out? Right. So there are some other considerations beyond just 4 years old and 40 pounds that you want to be looking at. And there's the high back boosters and the low back boosters. Typically, if you're going to switch over within that 4 to 5 year range, you still want them in a high back booster because they're not tall enough for their head to reach the head restraint, which is the point of a high back booster. Right. Comes up, it has the head support there. And that's how you kind of know if they're ready to move to a low back booster, if their head can reach your head restraint.
So I kind of mentioned when we were talking about Scotty, like we just traveled for the first time with both kids and it was on an airplane flight where we were renting a car. And so car rental companies do often have car seats. So definitely if you are traveling, call the car rental place ahead of time because it was so nice to only travel with the stroller and not travel with the stroller and the car seat. But what are some things to kind of keep in mind if you're flying and not getting to take all the gear you're used to with you?
Yeah. So if you're not taking all the things, you can rent car seats. I think one of the biggest downfalls, it's probably going to be a car seat you're not comfortable with. You don't know what it is. You've never installed it
about
before.
like an hour trying to figure, like maybe longer trying to figure it out. And I think we got it right.
Yeah.
Luckily we didn't get in a wreck, so we didn't have to find out. But
so I think that's the biggest downfall is you're not comfortable with it. You've got to take the time to make sure you're installing it correctly. But you have a car seat. There are pros and cons. There are also, as they get older, a lot of lighter weight, less expensive options that you can get to just travel with, that it is easy to fly with it, to check it. So there are a lot of options. I think I personally feel more comfortable with my car seats knowing who's been in them, how they've been cleaned, how they've been managed. They're not expired. The rental car company should be keeping an eye on those things, but I always like to just have a little bit more control in the area of children's safety when we're traveling. So for instance, we are going to Florida at the end of this month and my husband is driving with all of our car seats so that we have them and I'm flying with the kiddos.
That's a great option. That's when our first was youngest and we got to go to the Final Four, Sickle Bears. Always got to throw that in. My parents were very kind and took a road trip with the travel crib, the stroller, the car seat. And then Warren and I got to just fly with Scotty. So we just had the diaper bag, got to fly and then pop out and they were right there waiting. I know not everyone has that luxury of someone who can take extra work off to drive while everyone else gets to fly. But that's a great option when you can swing that.
And, best practice, the safest thing for kiddos, especially if they're younger, is to have them in their car seat on the plane. But that is not always feasible. Yeah. You have to buy a seat for that to happen. There are lots of factors to consider, but best practice is to install your car seat at the table. So what about the age
where you have to buy a seat no matter what? So we know best practice, buy a seat, they fly in their car seat, but we all know if they're under that 2 years old, a lot of us are just going to fly with them in our laps. But once they hit the point where you're required to buy a seat regardless, at what point would you say it would be okay for them to not be, do they need to fly in a booster? At what age is it okay to not fly in their car seat?
I would say once you're getting to kind of more forward facing and booster areas,
then they can be in the regular seat.
Yeah, I think still rear facing kiddos is kind of the biggest area of being able to keep them safe while they are on a plane. But again, everyone's situation is different, and you've got to just kind of weigh what's going to be best for you. So for us, for this trip, it's no car seats on the plane, but having our own car seats for the entire week that we're there in Florida.
Great. Well, thanks so much. I hope this is helpful to everyone. If you want more safety tips, Kendra has put together an amazing car seat safety course that you can check out on our Kajabi page that takes you through way more detail than this, how to install the seats, what to look out for, and make sure to comment below if you have a question you want us to answer for you.